Hey YouTube, my name's Paul, and I'm gonna be a farmer. And yeah, I know my face looks like dung beetle food, but I'm gonna have an awesome day anyway. Anyway, to start with, we hope you will follow along with us on our journey as we become farmers. Currently, we're renting what used to be an old blacksmith shop back in late 1800s, and it's on about a 16th of an acre. We have a strip of grass that is about 3 feet wide by maybe 40 feet long, and we have another strip that was about 12 inches by 25 feet long, and the rest of our property is covered with gravel. And rather than just kind of throw in the towel and give up on our journey, we decided that we're probably just going to go ahead and get some pots and do our gardening in some like 15-gallon pots. And we're primarily going to be growing stuff like sauce, spaghetti sauce, and things like that. So it's for the most part going to be some tomatoes, probably some different kinds of peppers, some garlic, onions, a few spices. Primarily, we're just going to kind of get a garden together for our own family and basically learn how to grow some things. And then maybe sometime in the next year, maybe move on to a larger property and maybe just plant the whole thing and make a giant garden, because at some point our goal would really like to be kind of self-sufficient and be able to grow enough on our property for our own family and maybe a little bit of extended family, and then grow some that we could just give away. Maybe we could support a local church or an organization with enough vegetables, or whatever. We're looking at all kinds of different farming systems and stuff right now, and we really don't know anything about it other than what we've learned kind of growing up. My wife has grown gardens and things with her parents and grandparents, and I've grown a garden with my parents, and in particular my mom and my grandpa and my great grandpa, and really don't have any farm experience other than just growing a garden. So that's what we're going to start with. In fact, we're literally at the moment, believe it or not, in the small area that we live in, we've been able to put together somewhat of a compost pile using some yard scraps and some things that the neighbors were, obviously going to kind of get rid of. And we're lucky enough that we do have a neighbor who's also a little bit more experienced with gardening. He's got a really nice setup next door, and I've kind of been getting some good advice from him as far as how to make some soil and some things like that. So we're literally starting from scratch, not just in the farming aspect of it, but also within the financial aspects of starting a farm. We're looking at things like different kind of loans that we might want to get or not get, and how we can get on a little bit larger property and be able to grow some more produce. And over the we're just really watching a lot of YouTube videos, getting a lot of good advice from a lot of really good farmers and growers and permaculturists, and a little bit of everything being thrown at us right now. And we're real excited about where our lives are going right now. I've been one of these kind of folks that, I don't know, probably when you were 6 or 7 years old, someone said to you, "Oh, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And you might be a person, "Oh, I'm going to be a doctor, or I'm going to be a lawyer, or I'm going to be the pitcher for the New York Yankees," or whatever. And I have never been able to pinpoint, well, what are you going to be when you grow up, until just a few months ago. And at that point, it just kind of hit me after having a roughly 10-year military career. And then after that, about a 15 or about a 15-year career in working kind of pseudo IT jobs and, working with databases and stuff like that for a large telephone company that's now been gobbled up by another telephone company. It got gobbled up by another telephone company. So anyway, that's kind of the career path I have chosen, just kind of, trying to get by and make ends meet and serve my country. And I really enjoyed the Army. I'm a Gulf War veteran, and shortly after the Gulf War, I went ahead and got out, worked for a newspaper for a little while, drove a truck for a little while, have had lots of different opportunities, kind of grew up in an agricultural community not too far from here, actually. And I've watched that farming community turn into, where it used to be farms. Now there are hundreds and even thousands of homes in some of those areas that used to be farms around where I live. So I know what cow poop smells like. I know what pig poop smells like. But as far as, ever being involved in any kind of an agricultural thing, the closest that I've come is, maybe feeding some uncle's hogs and, helping feed a cow and watching some people milk a cow. And then my great-grandfather actually used to build dairy barns around Delaware County and Franklin County, Union County area. But we're just now starting to get into it, and we hope that you'll kind of follow along with us. And if you have any advice, expertise, anything you want to chip in, feel free to do so. We're essentially just kind of documenting our journey so that, later on we can kind of go back and look at some of the mistakes we've made and say, hey, we should have done this a little different, or maybe we could have done that a little bit better. But we're kind of, we're looking at, like I said, we're starting from scratch, building our own soil on some gravel. But some other things that I kind of wanted to just kind of throw out there, regardless of the size farm that we end up with, we want to try to do it with all hand tools. We're not really interested in going and, having big tractors or, things like that. We want to replenish our soil. So we're looking at, we want to build soil and kind of be growing as organically as we possibly can. I mean, obviously, here we can't do it. If you look up, some of the rules and stuff about growing things organically, you kind of have to have a little bit of space out in the country somewhere to get away from your neighbors a little bit. So we're hoping we can find a property that's, something like that. Not looking for big acreage or anything. Doesn't have to be, it can be a flat spot out in a field. We can work with whatever. If we can grow some crops here and support our family with enough food that we're growing out of some, 15 and 3 and 4 and 5 gallon pots, then I think we'll be able to, to do all right on a larger property. And just kind of keep it growing things from there. Like I said, or maybe I haven't mentioned it yet, but we can take a look at some animal type systems too. Then once we get onto a different property, here we're restricted. You can't really. There's nothing. There are laws and regulations against having things like chickens and goats and cows and hogs and things like that. So once we get out to another place, we're going to probably take a look at least the chicken system, because we all eat eggs. And then at one point we had talked about maybe having a couple of dairy goats. So there we have kind of our dairy covered and our eggs covered and our vegetables covered, living on a farm. Maybe raise some hogs, cows, who knows really what down the road, but at some point we'd like to be self-sufficient and be able to share that with some other people too. Talk between ourselves about taking, maybe we grow enough for ourselves and extended family in one plot of it, and then on another plot we grow some that we just want to, like, would give it away to like maybe a food bank, or maybe just help everybody in our church, so they don't have to go buy vegetables all summer. But anyway, that's kind of some of the ideas we've been tossing around. We're not, like I said, we're not looking at being big ranchers or, anything like that. We're not necessarily particular about where our property is. We do kind of have a swath that we're looking at that might be between, like, Ohio's this wide on the map, and if you look straight down, maybe something that's, in that area, even as far south as like the Florida Panhandle or whatever. But I have some relatives that live in Florida, and we're trying, if we can find some place that's kind of in between there, that'd be, pretty awesome, and be able to kind of visit back and forth a little bit more than what we do right now. So, and it'll be a little bit warmer. I'm not getting any younger. I'm kind of getting old and beat up, and when it gets cold, I get really cold now. So I'm kind of looking maybe a little bit south of Ohio, but certainly somewhere maybe where it's a few degrees warmer is what we're looking at. But anyway, I'm sorry if I'm kind of rambling on there. I really didn't. I had just kind of a little script, and then I kind of just started talking about more stuff. But anyway, I hope you guys will, join us on our journey. And like again, if you're looking for, some advice on, being a professional farmer or something like that, this is probably not a channel that's going to be something that you want to tune into. But if you're interested in, watching somebody, make all the mistakes so you don't make them, then this might be the spot for you. Or if you just kind of want to follow along with our journey, and any advice that you have for somebody that's just kind of starting out, I'll get a list of some of the people that I'm looking at on YouTube and stuff right now who are really inspirational people. And I will, probably my next video, I may just kind of start rattling off some of those names. I should have wrote those down anyway, but I'll at least put them in the description of this video, some of the folks that I'm following that I feel like they're good teachers, and they seem to be pretty decent people. I honestly, I've never met any of them, but I've shot a couple of them in email, and they've been real supportive. Other than maybe posting a few pictures here at the end and kind of showing you a little bit about what is on this property, I think we'll just call it cool for right now, and maybe we'll see you here. I'm hoping weekly, but it's winter time, and to be quite honest with you, there's not a lot of stuff going on here that I can really do other than sit and plan. I think we're going to be planning out, like, how many jars of tomato sauce we're going to need in a year, and then calculate how many plants we would need to grow, and tomato plants, and then we wanted to make some salsa, so how much of that, tomatoes do we need for that, and what different varieties do we need. Got a really cool neighbor here. He's actually a veteran too, and at one point we were actually stationed on the same post together, and like 35 years ago, 36 years ago, something like that. But anyway, he's a more experienced gardener, I guess, what I would call him, than what I am, and he let me take a look at some of the stuff that he's growing, and he's got some heirloom tomato seeds that I'm anxious to try. He also hooked me up. I think we had like 6 or 8 pepper plants with some like cayenne peppers, and I think one of them actually ended up being a jalapeno pepper. It was a package of seeds for 25 cents, and she was my girlfriend at the time. Planted them in like some 3-gallon pots, and they actually grew. We made some chili with them. They turned out really good, so we're even more interested now in getting some stuff going next year. But we did plant some garlic. My wife is also into herbal remedies, that sort of thing. So we're growing some things. We'll be growing some things probably to support her doing that. We've got some mullein that we've planted. We're probably going to I don't know if have some spices planted and put in some little pots on the windowsill. So that's, we're kind of learning about seed germination and stuff like that. But it's getting kind of chilly here. I mean, it's getting down, below freezing at night and stuff now. So other than, taking a pitchfork and stirring up my compost, there's not really a lot going on here. And we don't really have a lot of stuff that we're composting anyway right now. So we're just kind of turning over the stuff that was left over from the neighbors, some grass, a bale of hay, some old corn stalks, and some pumpkins. We did get some pumpkin. My stepdaughter and I were going to make some pumpkin pies actually later today with some of the pumpkin. We took a regular pumpkin and we cooked it, and then we got all the stuff out of it and pureed it, and we saved those seeds too. We keep our seeds over here in this box for right now. But other than that, really not a lot going on other than a lot of planning and a lot of excitement about the direction we're taking in our lives, and really looking forward to hopefully getting our pots and stuff. It's going to cost a lot of money to make some soil here, so we're really kind of starting from scratch and just making our own compost, and maybe start a worm farm or something like that later on. But to be honest with you, it's going to take some doing, but we're not going to give up, and we're going to do the best we can with what we got. And hopefully this time next year, we'll be moving on to a property of our own and being able to maybe make it a little bit more exciting than just, sitting around planning how much stuff you need to grow so you can either can it or dehydrate it or freeze dry it or whatever you want to do. So we're looking at all those kind of options too. But anyway, thanks everybody for listening to me ramble. I hope I haven't, destroyed your faith in humanity. There's someone trying to start a YouTube channel and get their farm going. But I'm looking for any and all advice from anyone. So if you got anything, man, put it in the comments below. Click like and check the bell thing, and you'll get a notification whenever we put up another video. Hopefully these will be weekly. But like I said, it's winter time, and we're not out doing anything really other than churning up a compost pile and growing a few things inside as far as herbs and some spices go. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.